Sarah. My video for you today is about bladder leakage. It's also known as stress incontinence, and it has that more technical name because it's incontinence caused by stressing that area of your body. So it's pushing on your bladder or exerting your body some way, like jumping, stuff like that, and the sphincter that is near your bladder can't hold the liquid in. It's not like the same kind of incontinence that you get when you get older. So I have a bit of a personal story with this situation, though mine is very minor compared to what it can turn out to be. And I'm also talking specifically about this happening to younger people because the video request came from someone who is a lot younger and has had the problem since their teenage years. So with me personally, I have it if I haven't gone to the bathroom recently and I am coughing or laughing really hard or jumping. It happens a lot when I get sick, or especially if I'm jumping on a trampoline. Like, that is a lot of force on your body. So I remember when I was even a kid, I always had to go to the bathroom right before I went to the trampoline, or I would just pee my pants. So that's pretty embarrassing. And that's something that I'll get into a little bit later too. I have just a list of questions over here, so that's why I'm looking over to the side a lot. So I'll get started in with the more specific questions that was sent to me by the viewer. So, does it happen to you during sporty activities like running? And yes, but I do also have another condition with my body that has to do with my knees, so I don't typically run anymore, but if I'm doing kind of like a jumpy speeding walk, it can happen then too, especially if I haven't gone to the bathroom recently, just like the trampoline thing. Do you have to wear a pad or panty liner during those types of sports activities? And no, my problem isn't that severe, as I mentioned before, so I don't have to go to that extent to wear a pad or panty liner, but I have had situations where I've been using reusable menstrual products, so I already have an extra pair of underwear in my school bag or whatnot, and I have to actually change my underwear from having that type of an accident. Were you informed about the importance of pelvic training exercises in gym class? And that is an absolute no. I live in America, and we have had no training like that. Not even when we talked about, like, your body is growing and changing, like, talking about periods and sex, and when I had health classes like that, we were never told anything about it. I didn't know anything about those type of muscles or the importance of keeping them strong or bladder leakages or anything until I did some of my own research. So that seems like it could be a big problem, because if it's a viewer asking me just out of nowhere and then me actually having the same problem, I imagine this happens to a lot of people. Do you talk about bladder leakages with your friends? I have. It depends how good of a friend they are. I have my significant other knows. I have 2 other friends that know, and my parents know. And that's pretty much it. It is kind of a taboo subject, and I think that's why this viewer in particular asked me to make a video about it rather than asking someone else, like a doctor, about it, you know? I mean, a doctor would be a better person to be able to give you medical advice, but that's kind of an embarrassing thing to ask, you know? And I don't think it should be, but that's just the way it is. That's how taboo things happen. Most things that are considered taboo don't really have any reason that they should be. Okay, do you know if any other girls have had this problem? I did a little bit of research for this question. I found out that from the ages 16 to 22, 1 in 8 people, well, 1 in 8 females done in a random online survey have had the problem from ages 16 to 22, and those are also the people from the survey who have not had kids. That's a lot. I also know one other friend who had a leakage like this one time, but it's not a regular thing. It was just a thing when she was laughing too hard and it happened, so I don't know if she just really had to go to the bathroom or what. And I guess my mom too, but my mom has had 4 kids, so that doesn't really count towards the point that I'm trying to get across. What do you do when it happens when you're away from home? Well, I kind of mentioned that little thing earlier when I was at school, and I had already been using reusable menstrual products, so I had like my wet bag and all that supplies, and I had an extra pair of underwear, and that's what I did then. I guess I'll just get to it in the next question, because I have another question and I was going to say something a little bit more about that. So, the viewer who asked this question said that with her bladder leakages during her period, she can only use PUL pads because if you have the period liquid plus more leakage liquid coming through, it's just going to run everywhere because the, I guess, urine is thinner than period blood, so it's gonna run more in a pad. So I can understand that, and I think that's an okay thing because PUL it's a pretty safe, I guess, fabric. It is artificial, but as long as it's not causing you any skin irritation or anything like that, I would go ahead and keep doing that. I haven't ever had to do that, but it seems like a good solution if it works for you. What are some horror stories or impossible situations that have happened? Like I said, it's really only that time at school that I had it, well, I guess a few times at school, and I just went through and changed my underwear, and then I guess when I was younger and we had a trampoline in the backyard, I'd sometimes have to run in and change my underwear, or even my underwear and my pants. But I never really have been stuck anywhere other than school or outside my house, so I don't have too much experience to share there. Can this type of incontinence run through families? Definitely. There hasn't been any, like, for sure studies saying that it is a genetic thing, but if it's happened to my mom and it's happened to me, and there are other people on the internet who have shared stories of it happening to family members before them, and then you also, the viewer who asked this question, said that your mom had it, and you have it now, and you had it when you were younger too. That's got to be some type of clue there, so I'm going to say yes. So now I just have an advice section, and the order is from the least trouble to the most trouble that you want to go to prevent the leakage itself and further problems from the leakage. So staying hydrated is really important if you want to avoid the odors of, if you don't want to have to change your underwear regularly throughout the day. If you're hydrated, it just makes your urine have less smell. And then also, there are specific odor-reducing pills for your urine, and you can take vitamin C. It has some of the same effect. You could, especially if you were using reusable menstrual products already, you could easily carry around extra pairs of underwear and pads with you. You should definitely watch out for bladder-irritating foods like caffeine, alcohol, and overly acidic foods, because those can just irritate your bladder more and cause the problem to be worse, or even cause the problem to begin with. And then the last one is to strengthen your pelvic floor muscles pretty much daily, because if you're doing it like once a week, that's not really enough to get rid of an incontinence problem that you already have. That's pretty much just maintenance for it. And you can do that with either the pelvic floor exercises, or you can do exercises with weights. I would suggest starting with just the exercises to see if that helps, and then you can move on to either purchasing weights, or if you already have them, you can start using them, and the weights are a little bit harder, so that does make sense to do just the exercises first. And then I guess one more piece of advice, this also includes buying a product. You can just use a plain old menstrual cup. If you've never heard of a menstrual cup and you just found this video in some other way, you can check out another video that I have. You can find out a menstrual cup. It looks just like this. I chose this cup. It's the Gaia cup because it's the only cup that I have with a stem yet. It goes in the vagina. You fold it up whatever fold you choose, and it goes in and it sits right there, and it pushes up against the part of your urethra that's inside your body along the vagina, and it kind of holds it shut. And there's also a product called the Impressa bladder support. I'll insert a picture here. Okay, you saw it was kind of a squared piece. It was bigger at the top and smaller at the bottom, and you insert it like that. It is some type of plastic material, and it's covered by a fabric, and you insert it into your vagina, and it does the same thing as the cup does, and just kind of presses against your urethra and holds it shut. So that's all I have for this video. If this specific viewer or anyone else has any more questions, you can send me a private message. You can contact me through my Facebook page. You can comment if you like, and that's it. I'll see you next video, and I hope this was helpful.